Pick up the phone right here on Early Edition with Ete, 5:31 PI, bringing Pacific people together. 10 minutes past 11 o'clock is the time. Winona Folau is of Samoan heritage from the villages of Puipa'a, Vaiusu, and Vaivaseuta in Upolu, Samoa. She also considers Martin as one of the villages where she grew up after migrating to New Zealand. It is also where her journey as an artist started. As a creative, art is an expression not bound by words but experienced through various perceptions. The common practice of Siapo is transformed by embodying post-colonial textile techniques, which is hand embroidery, to challenge internalized Christianity within Samoa. We have Winona Folau in the studio with us this morning. Talofa lava Winona, and thank you so much for popping in to have a chat with us.
Talofa lava to you, and it's a privilege to be here, Mona.
It is our pleasure. Now, first of all, tell us a little bit about Winona. Where was she born, and how has she arrived at this point in her journey?
Wow, it's a long, it's a long journey. I was born in Samoa up here. The hospital that's actually being rebuilt to remove the old hospital. Grew up in Puipa'a, but shifted in between Puipa'a, which is my mum's villages, and Vaivaseuta, which is my dad's village, where my grandmas and grandmas have been. Came to New Zealand in 2007, the end of the year, beginning of 2008, if my memory serves me right. But yeah, it's from then on that I actually started to understand or shift my way of adapting and looking at the world. So art has helped me a lot to adapt the environment of New Zealand, the foreign land.
Wow. Did art then become a language for you to express who you are? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, so art became a way for me to express who I am, but also because my dad, actually, it was the first time I seen him draw, and it was for a school project. At primary school, we had homework that we had to draw, replicate an animal that we really liked. So I couldn't draw for the sake of me at that time. I was like to my dad, I don't know how to draw, and then he drew, and then that's when I found out that he actually liked drawing. He loved the visual things, but he didn't get the chance to do that back in the islands. It's really hard to actually go to school, so it was work straight after school. So that's when I started drawing. So I like seeing that's how I actually was able to better understand what school was about, was when I was visual, like through the books I got to see visual things. So the images spoke to me more than the words themselves, and that's when I found out that art and written language actually go hand in hand to portray something that someone's trying to say. It can't be one way because people are different. Like I can interpret something in the visual way, but someone else will interpret it better in the written oral language.
So you discovered that talent that you had within you at primary school, and when did you decide at college that you were going to do visual arts seriously? I couldn't draw to save my life, but you probably did art, and you saw that your art was as good, if not better, than anybody else's. You suddenly found you had this talent?
Oh, I want to say it was better than everyone else. I think I just had something to say deep down. I knew I had something to say for my family, for my people, and for my land. And it's why I was blessed to actually be able to read more into the visual side of things to someone else who couldn't. So it was, I guess it was my challenge as a being or my existence to actually be able to use art, the gift that was gifted to me, to tell my story and to be able to push it and to make use something that people usually don't count on to be used to tell their stories or to mean something more.
Especially Samoans.
Yeah.
How were your parents? Were they very supportive of you deciding that you were going to go to university and study art?
It was actually them that pushed me to actually come to university.
Yes.
Surprise.
Yes.
Surprisingly, but not at the same time. Like, I knew it since we moved here. That was actually my parents, my grandmas, and all my whole family's dream to actually push us as the younger generation to have or the experience of going to university that they didn't have. And not being able to just work straight after and be stuck there and have no knowledge of what's outside of just earning money and just the hardship of that life.
So, in terms of the application to study art, how did you put that together? And were they supportive of you? Most parents are saying lawyer, teacher, accountant, but your parents sound like they were quite open to the idea of you pursuing your artistic.
Yeah, actually, I don't. I've even never actually seen them being against, so that they've actually been really supportive. Pushing me in that direction. I guess they had more of an open mind towards art being a tool that enabled me to actually adapt to any given situation, rather than just something that's there. And also I actually really was pushed by my art teacher. I studied at Ringiti College for most of my life straight after primary, and I saw what difference my art teacher actually created in my life. Like, slowly I could see it. Like, I didn't see it before. I used to be this quiet, shy girl who just drew, didn't know actually the context of art. There was different mediums and the different ways you can actually use art. I just knew that drawing was one of them, until she came to our school, introduced us to painting, printmaking, and just took us out to exhibitions, brought us to Wellington. That's where I got to see Wellington, the Massey University, and the little courses that I did here. And then took us to Palmy, did a little, what's it called? The group works there with a program that I actually was enrolled in, which is actually the Gate and Grey program. It was kind of like a mentorship for students just to see the diverse art world.
Now, has the course given you a better appreciation of the art that our ancestors did, and Siapo in particular? Tell us about your exploration of Siapo and the Siapo patterns. Because I think there's an article about you in which you have created an art piece. Could you tell us a little bit about the art piece, the Siapo piece that the article was written about?
It's Malaga Fa'aleagaga.
Yes.
The main title of my last project, actually. That project came straight after COVID, as we've all been known. Had a lot of different experience through COVID, but it actually speaks for itself. The title itself, I mean, spiritual journey. So through my messy life, actually, even from indirectly, like unconsciously, I was going through that journey, even without me knowing it. But I guess here being in my last project as a fourth year student studying my bachelor, I came to really understand my role, or what I was doing unconsciously was finding my way in how my parents taught me. So most of our values actually came from the Bible, or our spiritual gatherings as a family, doing like loku, nafi afi, or just studying and actually being taught that the way that we should go about the world and create our own stories, but not judge others upon our own opinions, and also adapting to whatever environment that we go in, but bringing our own culture, but not let it die down. As time is always moving, we should move with it, and we shouldn't stop, but let time pass us by. It's that piece actually gave me that chance to really explore and refine my momentum, or what I was actually looking to search in life. But that's inspired by a lot of other academians like Billy Haufa, Albert Wendt, Edward Said, I say, using my own visual way of communicating with the world and telling what I see, by what not everyone else chooses to see, but just something that people pass by.
In terms of what you want to pursue in the future, are you looking mainly at printmaking, as in the example of the Siapo, or are you looking to explore as much as you can, become multidisciplinary in terms of painting with oils and with prints? Is there a favorite medium that you like to use in the visual arts?
There's not a favorite. I guess Siapo itself is such a rich indigenous material that should be recognized within many discipline areas or different ways of approaching it. And that was my main goal, was to see and push the boundaries of what it could withhold in the many complex layers that I could add to it, just as our ancestors actually used it to tell their stories in a way that others, or they couldn't do, just as like others could do their own talents, I say.
Who are some of the artists that have inspired you?
Ooh, inspired me. I'd say the Pacific Sisters, one, the Fafswag, sorry, I can't pronounce their names.
Fafswag, I
Yeah.
think, yeah. What is it about the work that they do that makes you think, yes, go?
I guess their uniqueness to open doorways for others and to not be, I guess, afraid to share their stories, just their personalities, their characteristics, and their loyalty to the culture itself, and bringing new ways of evolving or with the time that's going by, but still staying strong to their roots, their true stories.
So is Winona going to return to Martin, or is Martin too small for Winona now? Winona has to stay in the city where the arts is happening.
I wouldn't say Martin's small for me. I'd say home is where the heart is. I always go back there, go back to Samoa, but I guess I don't know.
Where's the future for Winona? The immediate future?
The immediate future?
Yeah, this year, 2021, what's in store for Winona?
I'm actually looking to really refine my field or my talent that I have by still studying more, and seeing where my talent takes me, what story I could explore or how I could expand it. But yeah.
Wonderful. And finally, if people are wanting to see some of your work, where can they find it? Google Winona Folau is probably the best way for them to find something.
Yeah, most likely, because I'm just still studying, setting my foot in there, or getting my foot into the art industry. Still new, but hoping or to make a change or to bring something new.
Wonderful. Well, your voice is a new voice, and we are all looking forward to seeing more of your work. More emerging Samoan artist Winona Folau, thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to your spiritual journey.
Thank you.
You're listening to Early Edition with Ete, right here on your station 531 PI, bringing Pacific people together. Here's Langas.